And I'm here to talk about the Interborough Express and the MTA's role in Laguardia, expanding access to transit to Laguardia Airport. So the Interborough Express is something many of you may have heard about already. It was a part of the governor's State of the State address, and it's this idea of reactivating a underused line, the Hellgate line, and it will connect Queens to Brooklyn, starting from Bay Ridge all the way up, terminating at 74th in Jackson Heights. Right now, we're in the very early phases of that program. We're still reviewing the potential options for what it could be. So right now, there are three main options. One is bus rapid transit, one is light rail, and one is a more conventional style Long Island Railroad rail. And again, we're very early on in that process, and we're excited to engage the community about that. We want to hear feedback from you folks, from what your vision for the project should be. And regarding LaGuardia access, the MTA is really excited to partner with the Port Authority, who is leading the effort, and support them in their efforts to pick a new plan, because it's extremely important that transit access to LaGuardia Airport is expanded. This is one of the busiest airports in the country, and it deserves, a world-class transit system, much like the world-class community owns it. So that's all I have right now, and I will pass it back.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Garcia, and I'm the Queensborough Commissioner for New York City DOT, and thank you, Senator, for inviting us today. So it goes without saying that we are always pleased to partner with the Port Authority and MTA on improving access to the airport. My team and I like to joke around, all roads lead to DOT, so we are happy to come to the table and attend many community meetings and get a lot of feedback and weigh in and improve access to the airport. So with regard to things that are off airport and within DOT's right of way, in 2019, we started implementing about 30 miles of conventional bike lanes in Community Board 3 and 4 as part of the Big Jump initiative. So a lot of those lanes are now in the ground, they're completed, they're being used, and in fact, they probably were overused in a good way during the pandemic when a lot of people didn't have access to subways overnight, etc. So our next step in improving access to the airport via bike is, later on in this year, we're going to want to connect with local stakeholders, including you, the community board, etc., to figure out that kind of last piece of the puzzle. And obviously, we'll work hand in glove with the Port Authority, which has expressed interest in improving access on their facility space. So again, partners all around, and we will be sure to engage with the community on that. With regard to City Bike, it's not coming to this area until 2024, but in a blink of an eye, it will be 2024. It will hub East Elmhurst and, adjacent to the airport, all the way to the park. So we're excited about that. The online portal where you can include suggestions is not open yet. However, we do encourage those that are interested in getting their feedback to us early on, including that you're excited about City Bike or you're concerned, you have locations to share, locations that we should steer away from. You can email those to bikeshare@dot.nyc.gov. And the good thing about that is that when we do open up the access portal, which should be released in the coming year for feedback, those comments that we receive will already be populated. So, it gives us a good starting map where other people can read the other comments that have been submitted even before we made this public. So the best part about in-person town halls else is getting the in-person questions. So I'm going to stop now, but again, it's all about partnership. We're eager to work with stakeholders about all the good things to come, from new bike lanes to city bike and everything in between. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much, Commissioner. Are you good? Yes, you can clap for Commissioner Garcia. All right. I also wanted to shout out, I'm sure you guys saw the presentation from Ameristar Rail. They are a company that has reached out to the governor, making their own proposal, expressing their vision for a solution, a possible solution here in the community. I wanted to give them the opportunity to be able to display their idea to everyone. Just for the sake of transparency, I do want to say that I am not in a position right now to endorse any plan. I don't plan to do that without community input, and until I feel comfortable that we actually have a community consensus around what we deem to be the better plan. And I'll be honest, in my personal opinion, there's a few things that the Port Authority is proposing that make sense. For example, the dedicated bus lanes make sense to me. So it's not one or the other necessarily. But I did want to say that, especially in lieu, I saw Queensborough President Donovan Richards this morning endorse this very specific idea, which I think is plausible. But I am not, and I will not be endorsing any idea without some much more thorough community input, and this is where it begins. So, does anybody have any questions from any of our panelists or me? Yes.
Yes, for the Department of Transportation, is it your department that would isolate one of the travel lanes on, say, the Grand Central Parkway or some other roadway to make the lanes dedicated for the buses, or for some more advanced, technologically more advanced mass transit, like personal rapid transit?
So it would largely be kind of a joint thing with all of us, including the state, which owns the Grand Central Parkway. DOT does maintenance, but with any large project like that, in any massive highway, whether it's city-owned or state-owned, it's all about a collaboration. So we wouldn't be giving up a lane and blessing it. All of the people in this room and state DOT would weigh in on, the engineering, the feasibility, etc.
Yeah, because part of the problem that I saw attending the Port Authority workshop last week was that there's no indication that part of the plan is to isolate a traffic lane. Okay, and I think that's what the problem is, because most of the criticisms from the FAA and from Port Authority's own study from before with the air train is that a lot of those proposals would interfere with current traffic, would be bogged down with traffic, such as even the dedicated bus lanes or bus transport to the airport would be bogged down with traffic. And I think the answer is to isolate a traffic lane, either on the Grand Central or on 19th Avenue or down 31st Street, or do something of that nature. But I haven't seen that in any of the proposals.
If I can jump in here, so
Do we need this?
Yeah.
Or are Queen's voices okay? No.
for the live.
I'm very loud, so.
For the live. If you don't mind using the mic, that would.
I thought the microphone was over there. I guess not.
So, the various bus options which we're looking at, which include enhancements to the existing Q70 or the M60, or new service options in addition to the existing Q70 and M60, part of the evaluation of those options include looking at opportunities to change a lane of traffic or a parking lane to a dedicated bus lane. It's not feasible along the entire route because there are certain pinch points which just would not make it feasible, but that is sort of the things we are looking at. And again, as the commissioner said, it would be it is a collaborative effort that we are undertaking in close consultation with city DOT where there are city roads and state DOT where there are state roads involved. So we are working across the agencies to ensure we are getting their feedback and their thoughts on where this can work, how you might be able to make it work, etc.
Thank you.
Are there any plans connecting Laguardia and JFK? Because that's a very troublesome thing, and people take a lot of time taking car or other transportation from Laguardia to JFK or JFK to Laguardia. And any plans for future air train connecting Laguardia and other stations? Is out of the table or is still in the table?
So we have currently 14 options, so there's a lot of things on the table at this time. But one of the options we are looking at is connecting LaGuardia to JFK by going from the airport, I get my directions right here, going east, down the Grand Central Parkway, across the Kew Gardens interchange, and connecting to the JFK Air Train Station in Jamaica. So that is one of the options that is under evaluation.
Good question. In the back there.
Sure, on the same topic of buses, it seems like it would be a no-brainer regardless of the long-range transit plan to fix bus circulation on the airport while you're rebuilding the entire airport. Because when you take the Q70 today, the worst part of the whole trip is at the airport.